Here's a fact about Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower is a critically acclaimed indie game which stars an Italian chef Peppino whose humble pizza shop, which is suffering from debt, gets its final nail in the coffin when a mega corporation sets up a pizza tower next door. This means that more people that would have gone to Peppino's place will choose brand name recognition over actual quality, therefore driving away Peppino's clientele and forcing him to close down. Peppino, instead of accepting defeat, realizes that pizza restaurants shouldn't be that tall and finds out that the pizza tower is very wheelchair inaccessible. So inaccessible that Peppino must use his ability to climb walls to traverse the tower, and so he heads off to explore the tower and keep track of any OSHA violations the tower holds. He is joined by his friend Gustavo and Lane from Serial Experiments Remy. If you know, you know. Upon the game's release in early 2023, Pizza Tower was instantly beloved across the world, becoming one of 2023's notable releases. But there is a deep, dark secret hidden within the tower, and it's not the bacon room. It's hidden in plain sight. This secret was prominent in the game's marketing, a fan favorite, and was even added to the game as a playable character. On this episode of FactsAbout, we'll be discussing the biggest sicko in Pizza Tower,
the noise.
Have you ever been frustrated because the Noid ruined your pizza? The Noid loves to ruin pizza. Call Domino's Pizza.
During the mid-1980s, the pizza delivery industry was on fire, but there was a problem. A mysterious cryptid known simply as the Noid was going across the nation hijacking pizza delivery vehicles and destroying the pizza inside. As these incidents spread across the land and more pizzas were delivered in piss-on-the-poor condition, pizza companies rushed to figure out how to prevent the Noid from destroying the pizzas. And Domino's had an idea that was right on the money, and by money, I mean money, going directly into the Noid's pockets. In exchange for safety, you know, like, they bribed him, alright? Jeez! They bribed him not to attack Domino's delivery vehicles, but due to mass hysteria, they needed to get the word out. And they needed to tell the public that their pizzas were Noid-proof without telling them that the Domino's bribed them. So they made commercials promoting that they managed to avoid the Noid by improving the boxes, which makes no sense, by the way. It's cardboard, can't really improve it that much. The commercials also feature a cartoonish version of the Noid. However, because no one actually saw the Noid during negotiations, they had to create a design for the commercials. This design is what you think of when you hear the Noid. Now, some of you may be asking, what does this have to do with the noise? And to that I say, hold on! Just wait a moment, I'll explain everything. Just give me a second, alright? As the years went on, the Noid marketing campaign became very successful, even as the Noid himself quietly stopped his rampage. The mascot version continued to thrive. If it sounds really messed up that they made a real criminal their mascot, wait until you find out about the time Pizza Hut tried to make Jeffrey Dahmer their mascot. There was even a TV show planned for the Noid, not Dahmer. It didn't happen, but like, that's still cool. Did you have a TV show planned? I don't think so. However, this long-running streak ended when the Noid, the mascot, not the criminal, was slain in gladiatorial combat. You may be asking how this could happen to a fictional character. Well, don't worry about that. What you need to worry about is who slew him, because she is a monster. The Noid was slain by none other than Hatsune Miku. She also vanquished the Aflac Duck, the Honeycombs mascot, Crazy Craving, and Doroto, the Doritos mascot. Never heard of Doroto? Thank Hatsune Miku for that. But the important part is that because of that, Hatsune Miku became the Domino's mascot and the Noid was booted. Yep, just for that. Nothing else would have caused Domino's to have wanted to drop the Noid as a mascot. No siree. Pizza Tower! Pizza Tower began development a bit ago, when the lead developer John Pizza Tower wanted to make an RPG about Peppino, an Italian chef who was very scared of the monsters in his pizzeria. But Peppino decided to evict all of the monsters, and so they all pooled their cash and got themselves a sweet tower next to the place. And it was definitely more roomier than the small pizza shop. Over time, the concept of the game changed from an RPG to a platformer inspired by the dormant Mario Land series. Wait, shit, my bad. Made a typo, let me try that again. Over time, the concept of the game changed from an RPG to a platformer inspired by the dormant Wario Land series. Very big distinction there. As the game was taking the shape of the game we now know, a new character was added to the mix. That is the subject of this video, the noise. The origins of the noise haven't been discussed in detail. All we know is that John Pizza Tower saw the resemblance between the noise and the Noid and thought that he'd be a perfect fit for this pizza-themed game. Over time, the noise would take on a bigger role in the game, even evolving to playable character in a post-launch update. But there were some complications with the noise near the game's release, which we shall get into right now. Okay, so this seems very off the wall, but this is an integral part of the story. For those young people, MySpace was an early social media site, predating everything that comes to your mind when you hear social media. It's technically still up, but not as big as it once was. However, during its heyday, there was a very interesting user. He might be what you'd call today as a lolcow. A user by the name of Crush the Pizza Truck 38587538659 plus E670. I'm not reading this whole username. What the fuck? But this was a peculiar MySpace user because, as the username suggested, this user started an online petition to legalize Grand Theft Auto. No, gamers, they never banned GTA. Grand Theft Auto is also the name of the act of stealing a car. You unintelligent gamers, go outside more. But only the Grand Theft Auto 5 of pizza delivery vehicles was to be permitted. The petition said, "It is time that the US government let its citizens take back what is theirs by letting us steal pizza delivery trucks." This petition to the United States government calls for Congress to legalize the hijacking of pizza delivery vehicles on a federal level. To be clear, this is only for pizza delivery vehicles, and the theft of other vehicles should stay illegal. This was quickly mocked throughout the site. The obvious first thought that came to the MySpacers was that Crush the Pizza Truck just wanted free pizza, with comments such as, "That would just mean the pizza drivers will be armed. Do you not have $5 and just order from a place that has a 30 minutes or it's free policy and set various traps to slow down the driver like the rest of us?" But this user was very quick to point out that his motivations had nothing to do with enjoying the slice. In fact, he wanted to destroy the pizza as well. The users of MySpace thought that this was really fucking weird, but didn't realize the connections to the pizza crushing incidents of decades past. Though some did humorously compare him to the Domino's mascot, with such comments as, "Holy shit, it's the son of the Noid! This has to be a troll. Maybe a weird Domino's marketing stunt? And I'ma touch you, little bro." That last one was more recent. Crush the Pizza Truck never ventured beyond MySpace, even after the social media powerhouses such as Facebook and Twitter triumphed over MySpace. This is probably part of the reason why Crush the Pizza Truck never became renowned as lolcows such as Chris Chan and Charlie Sheen. Another is the fact that besides the desire to destroy pizzas, he seemed pretty normal and employed basic internet safety. We even have some posts of him talking about world events from over the years, such as the 2016 election, where he said, "People at work have been asking if I will be voting Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton in the election. While I understand the risks and benefits to both, I am still on the fence. I'm waiting to find out their stance on hijacking pizza trucks. Until then, I will hold on to my vote." On the topic of the UK vote to leave the European Union, he wrote, "Maybe if the United Kingdom is to leave the EU, maybe they could legalize the hijacking of pizza trucks now. Just a thought? If they were to, I'd be glad to move there." When transgender issues were going around again, he wrote, "People should have the right to be who they want to be and also hijack pizza trucks." On the topic of Papa John, he wrote, "I wonder what Papa John means by the Day of Reckoning. I don't like that N-word spewing greasy pizza man, but it's clear that he's referring to the legalization of pizza truck hijacks. Perhaps he will show his support for the movement. I am certainly staying tuned. However, one fateful night in 2021, Crush the Pizza Truck posted, "Alright, I've had enough of all of you making fun of me for my dream. I realize now that there's no way to do this diplomatically. The system was stacked against me from the beginning. I will take out my will on these ungrateful pizza men." The next morning, there was a report of a DoorDash driver having his car stolen. When the police found it, it was in perfect condition except for the pizza that the driver was sent to deliver, which had the little table stolen and the pizza smashed in. The Noid was back. Throughout the year and most of 2022, different DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub drivers had their cars hijacked and the pizzas destroyed. Domino's had recently tried to bring back the Noid as a mascot with a new commercial starring the Noid. The mascot, not the guy, which they had to discontinue very quickly. When news of this reached John Pizza Tower, he realized that it would be bad timing to release Pizza Tower as noise-focused as it was. Of course, his inclusion already had so much work put into it, it would just be so hard to simply remove him from the game. So, John Pizza Tower simply chose to remove his playability until further notice, and simply downplay him in the marketing. When the game came out shortly after the Noid's attack stopped, people quickly overshadowed the questionability of the Noise with praise for the character. He quickly rose back up as a star, eventually getting a plush, various merchandise, and even that coveted playable character position. But unfortunately, something doesn't add up. So allow me to solve the equation. Now this sounds crazy, but I am alleging that the Noise and the pizza hijacker of the 2020s are the same person, alright? I'm not saying this for certain, this is for the FactsAbout deniers that I know will be questioning this in the comments. These are just allegations, nothing more, alright? Okay. Now, the Noise in Pizza Tower is never shown to destroy any actual pizzas, but he has been shown to use tools similar to the Noid, such as the famous Pizza Crusher. Some of you may say, oh, that doesn't prove anything, I have a Pizza Crusher and I use it to crush pizzas legally, which is fair. And in any other case, I would suggest that the Noise only crushes pizzas legally, but this is not a regular case. In fact, I have a few other reasons for thinking this about the Noise. Because in the files of Pizza Tower, it is confirmed that the Noise has a DoorDash account, and has used it to order many pizzas, even though he hates pizza. Perhaps he was ordering the pizzas, then used the app to track down and hijack the trucks when they came to deliver them. It would explain how the hijacker was able to know what vehicles were DoorDash drivers and which actually had pizza in them. But that could just be circumstantial. Maybe the Noise secretly likes pizza. There's also the fact that the attack stopped right before Pizza Tower came out. Maybe the Noise wanted to pull off a few more heists before he retired to the tower. You may think that this is enough to prove definitively that the Noise is a criminal. Well, you'll probably be eating those words when I provide you with my last piece of evidence. And that's Noise's girlfriend, Noisette. Now, what's so suspicious about Noisette? Well, let's analyze her features. Let's compare her to someone more masculine. Perfect. Notice how they share a lot of features. Similar stature, wide mouth and beady eyes. Also that fit. Girl, no cis woman is wearing that. Noisette must be transgender. Now, remember when we went over Crush the Pizza Truck's MySpace page? Remember that post about supporting trans people? Suspicious that both the Noise and Crush the Pizza Truck support the same group. There is clearly too many coincidences for there not to be some sort of connection between Crush the Pizza and the Noise. No, let's not call him this pretend name anymore. This is a real person who must take accountability. Today, I have shown that without a doubt, Theodore Noise is hijacking pizza trucks and destroying the pizza inside. And for those who say, well, he's a fictional character, would a fictional character have an address? That I won't share because of the guidelines. Just look up Theodore Noise's address on Google. But I have one last thing for you. Remember that we actually never found out what the Noid looked like. A victim of an attack from who we now know as Theodore Noise came to me instead of the police and gave me a description of his attacker, which I will read off now. A figure of a short stature, with a gaping mouth, a singular tooth, and a curling mustache. With a yellow onesie with an orange cape. Sound familiar? Facts about truthers? We have our answer. Thanks for watching Facts About Truthers. If you like the video, send Theodore Noy some anthrax or make a deal with Dracula to kill him on your behalf in exchange for his secrets. Next time, we'll be doing a little silly parody of the Shawshank Redemption. Here's a fact about Plants vs. Zombies. There's been this iceberg image going around recently. It lists obscure information about Plants vs. Zombies, from well-known secrets and Easter eggs to less-known information about the game's development. You might have also seen videos depicting things from the game that you don't remember being there, from minor details to plants and zombies not seen in official material appearing in the game. It has been recently discovered that the original PC version of the game used an experimental AI that would subtly change variables in each download of the game from digital marketplaces that sold the game. In layman's terms, every copy of Plants vs. Zombies is personalized. Kind of. Most of our collective memories find common ground in a single version of the game, as the Game of the Year edition did not include most of these variables and were all wiped of their unique properties. This version is also the base for many of the game's ports to other platforms, and while there are differences between them, such as different exclusive modes, this isn't exactly the same thing. But why did PopCap make this single unified version of the game? On this episode of Facts About, I will explain this wave of new discoveries and clear up what is truly going on with this beloved game. Let's soil this plant. Let's begin with proving that there is personalization. We will have to look at small details within the game, such as pulp plants being able to damage zombies with shields while they're still holding it. The origin of this knowledge is unknown. If you did not know about this, you're now aware of this strategy. If you did know about this, how did you find out? If it was through the internet, how did they know? The game never indicates this, and it's not mentioned in the almanac either. What other possible way would there be of finding this out, besides the existence of personalized versions of the game where this trick is better hinted about? Those who knew about this shared it online, eventually leading to mass shift in the collective unconsciousness of everyone who played the game. This should clear things up for anyone who remembers this being mentioned in the almanac or a record scratch whenever a pult hit a ladder zombie. Small things like this prove that other people's playstyles change the game and that there is no singular version of PvZ. This playstyle-based personalization is still in the modern version in a less drastic form, as during gameplay, zombies will spawn based on how quickly previous ones are killed. And now that you know that there are alternative versions of the game, you're probably aware that your experience with PvZ is a sort of mishmash of multiple playthroughs from other people. To promote the original game, a demo that runs on Flash was released, and very small changes reveal small bits of the full game's personalization, such as the squash being unlocked after 1.5 instead of the potato mine for basically no reason, and the football zombies wearing a black jersey instead of red, and also being significantly tougher for once again, no reason, and multiple pogo challenges reference Bok Choy, a plant who would not officially appear until the second game. Unless you count the various Chinese versions of the game, such as Great Wall Edition, which includes various plants, zombies, and levels not seen in the Game of the Year edition. This was PopCap's way of depersonalizing the game, as the CCP refused to let the game be released in its personalized state. So PopCap made a singular version, specifically with content that would appeal to the Chinese market. Some of it, which changed context to theme it to Journey of the West, is based off of content from the original release that never made it to Game of the Year edition. This tradition still exists in a way with PvZ too, except instead of taking from personalized copies, the people at PopCap China makes new content from scratch. Good for them. The last version that's relevant is the recent replanted version of the game, infamous for being riddled with issues that made the game feel off, and being topped off with a very strange presentation that allegedly made things up about the game. However, things like balance changes, music selection, and even seemingly incorrect statements make more sense with the context of personalization, as this version is not based on the Game of the Year version or even the console versions, but one out of infinite versions of the original game. This isn't meant to excuse modern PopCap or EA's actions. They are not completely cleared from this, as they did not bring the original staff or anyone who knew about the personalization to work on this game. If they had someone who was aware of the personalization, Replanted would have likely not have been released in the state it was. I've discussed it vaguely throughout the video, but you may be waiting for me to talk about more specific instances of personalization, starting with changes in the first world structure, which doesn't have as many differences as later worlds, but are still worth noting. We already discussed the squash being unlocked in place of the potato mine, but there's been cases where Tangle Kelp would have been unlocked. Players who got kelp this way would have been able to place it on both land and sea. The night level tends to stay the same between versions similar to day, however football zombies may sometimes don black instead of red. This was also in the Flash version, but sometimes players will get Magnet Shroom early instead of Ice Shroom or Hypno Shroom. The pool is where personalization becomes more apparent. The plants obtained in the pool can be completely mixed up. Some instances include Cabbage Pulp being unlocked in 3-3 in order to combat snorkel zombies, digger zombies appearing instead of dolphin zombies, and most interesting of all, lily pads not being unlocked until later in the world or not at all, requiring the player to use 3-peaters, starfruit, and snapdragons to take care of the swimming dead. Fog also has interesting twists, such as pogo zombies being blown away by blowers, and Torchwoods, which may have been unlocked here if not during the pool levels, dealing massive damage by having airborne zombies fall on it. In some copies, Fog could fill more or less of the lawn, going as far as to either cover the whole lawn or to be gone entirely. Anyone who got Magnet Shroom in the night levels would have gotten the other Shroom in its place. The roof level is all scrambled up with its plants and zombie selection. Plants that can be unlocked in this level, besides the ones in the Game of the Year edition, include Potato Mine, Jalapeno, Tall Nut, Pumpkin, Doomshrew, Bong Choy, Snapdragon, Ghost Pepper, Plantain, Blover, Umbrella Leaf, and Allergay. Additionally, some copies do not have the flower pot unlocked, making the level significantly more difficult. The zombies are interesting as well. The trash can zombie from the console and DS versions can appear here, which marks their first real appearance. Additionally, some accounts describe the roof slant as being different. Some versions have the slant cover more of the stage, some less, sometimes completely flat or a massive slant. In the Game of the Year edition, this is where the game ends, but on rare occasions, personalized copies would generate a secret sixth world. The elusive World 6. Players have been curious about a sixth area of the game since the game's launch. It only makes sense for a sixth world to exist. After all, there is a pattern. Lawn during the day, lawn during the night. Pool during the day, pool during the night. Roof during the day, so it makes sense for a night version of the roof level to exist, and depending on the copy, the sixth world is this, or it can be much different. I'm not going to get into what exactly is within this world to keep negative emotional aura down, but there is one thing I want to highlight: the pregnant zombie. This zombie is functionally a weaker Gargantuar, where if the zombie takes enough damage, it will give birth to a baby zombie, which is basically an imp. I cannot show this, as I think it's probably against TOS to show a zombie birth. And before you ask, I did not make this up. I don't know what John PVZ was drinking when thinking of this one, and I definitely don't know what he was drinking when implementing this into the game, but this is in the personalized copies. I did not make this up. I am not responsible for the pregnant zombie. Personalized copies have a variety of different minigames, though there have been no instances of the total count among copies being different than 20. These 20 minigames vary. The minigames in the Game of the Year edition were handpicked from the original game to represent the best of what the game had to offer. However, some of these personalized minigames appear in the game's Limbo page, but they have been stripped of their unique assets, such as the Walnut Art Challenge having 2 eyes on the field that can't be planted on, the minigame Squirrels actually having visible squirrels, the ice level actually working, and Big Time had a lot more large plants. The Vase Breaker and iZombie puzzles had differing levels, and iZombie specifically had a variety of zombies to choose from, such as Pogo Zombie, Zomboni, Jack-in-the-Box Zombie, Catapult Zombie, Dog Walker Zombie, and Survival mode also had personalized waves of zombies, but a more interesting difference is the Endless level. In the Game of the Year edition, the Endless level is a pool level, but some copies had to take place in other worlds, such as Day, Roof, Fog, and many of the potential sixth worlds. Not the night level though, that's just stupid. The Zen Gardens Marigolds came in up to 30 colors compared to the 11 in the Game of the Year version. I know I keep saying the full thing instead of an acronym, but saying GOATY version would just be silly. An iconic secret within PvZ is the Zombie Yeti. In order to see the Yeti in the Game of the Year version, you have to get to 4-10 in a second playthrough, and then after that, it will appear rarely in normal levels. However, in personalized copies, this mechanic is a lot more intricate, with the Yeti appearing as early as the final level of the first world, and the player's playstyle would have had an influence on when the Yeti would appear. If the player did really well in a level, the Yeti would be more likely to appear. However, this was not a reward for the player, this was meant to make the game harder. As the Yeti's toughness made it hard to defeat, especially if you weren't expecting it, and while it didn't go further than a few dials, it shielded things that could damage other zombies, letting them progress further through your lawn. This would explain why seemingly incorrect information about the Yeti was given during the replanted dev diary, as this information was true to some extent, but not to most players, and even outright contradictory to players who encountered it early. The Bungie zombies were another example of the game's dynamic difficulty, as they could appear as early as the pool levels and would target plants that would be a detriment to lose, such as high cost and slow recharge plants. Jack-in-the-Box zombies also had a chance to fake their death, with their death animation playing, then exploding anyway. Newspaper zombies would move faster based on how soon their paper was destroyed. When making the Game of the Year edition, the developers made a compromise to this difficulty dilemma where the player's first playthrough would have consisted of easier instances of the levels and the second would have been a harder instance of the levels. At this point you may be thinking, wow, this version of Plants vs. Zombies sounds awesome! Why did PopCap start making this version and why haven't I shown any footage of these copies? Well, that's because of the potential severe psychological distress, of course. The pool is an allegory, a 2D model of the human brain and its functions. Take a look at the rim of the pool. Its cobbly appearance kind of looks like the wrinkles of the brain. There's even a brain sprite hidden within the game's files. It does appear in the game at multiple points, but it was weirdly hard for me to find it, like they wanted to hide it for some reason. One of the places it appears is in the Zombiquarium minigame. This minigame features many snorkel zombies, and what is the snorkel zombie's weakness? That's right, tangle kelps, which take zombies below the surface, below the water, below surface level thought. The fact that the pool is filled with water, kind of how a brain is soaked in brain juice. This is part of the reason why level 3-9 has a negative emotional aura. Wait, are these all just common traits of a pool? Is every pool an allegorical diagram of the human brain? Well, I'm just gonna leave it up to you because we have more important things to talk about, such as the beta builds. The most concerning discovery are the side effects on fans who have looked into the beta builds of PvZ. I would like to advise FactsAbout truthers and deniers alike to not research the PvZ betas. For safety reasons, I will put in as little beta footage as I possibly can so you viewers won't succumb to the side effects such as dreams containing walnuts and tall nuts, specifically how they appeared in the beta. According to people who have had these dreams, a good practice is if a nut approaches you, do not interact with them. Look away and ignore them. When you wake up, they will try to talk to you. Their voice has been described as a horrible screeching, causing horrible headaches for the victim. A psychological attack similar to Rocco's basilisk. An artificial intelligence that tortures those who knew about its existence but didn't help create it, as it believes they want to destroy it, and now that you know about it, and unless you create it, it will at some point torture you. Sorry about that. Knowing about these betas are considered info hazards, as being aware of them has brought out negative effects of mental well-being. Sorry. Again. Picture a pea shooter in your mind, and imagine it shooting peas at a zombie. There is a chance that you'll visualize the peas somehow moving out of the way before it hits the zombie, as if an invisible force made the pea revolve around the zombie. And no matter how much you try, you can't get the pea to hit that blasted zombie. Oh wait, you almost got it that time. This is clearly a result of the personalization affecting psychological functions. On that subject, this is the reason for the recent explosion in interest in studying Plants vs. Zombies personalized copies. The Bjorn apparition was born from the desires of players who see the Peggle mascot within the company's latest game. The game does this by realizing this desire through the player's playstyle. This will cause only his head to appear. There are differing accounts to how this enemy appeared, but a common thing among these accounts is a difficulty articulating memories of the encounter, such as whether or not you had to fight Bjorn, and if you did, what plants were used in the fight, or what location the fight was in. I would highly suggest that you shut down your computer the moment you believe you're witnessing or are about to witness the Bjorn apparition. If you are to behold it, you will give it power. Enough power for it to manifest in reality through similar methods to the beta build's walnuts, and you will suffer psychological distress. This understanding of Plants vs. Zombies, or in this case, the various versions, is an example of someone's interpretation of a whole work being based on the interpretation of parts of it as well as the other way around. This is called the parts-whole theory. Basically, every player's understanding of Plants vs. Zombies is based on their own playthrough. I probably could have explained that better without the parts-whole theory. But it's also based on the experiences of others, which, since most people played the Game of the Year edition, likely clouded the memories of early players. So if you remember playing the OG version but don't remember these personalizations, that's why. Now let's address the big elephant in the room. Why did PopCap, a company known for simple casual games, make such a dynamic game? Of course, you could say that the devs wanted to create a unique experience for players. However, I have a counterpoint. The negative psychological effects. You don't accidentally put psychological attacks in your game. Whoops! I actually put this subliminal messaging in this video. Woo! There must be another explanation for this. Also, why would they cover this up? Why would PopCap want to create this strange Mandela effect and then release a new version with no answers? Wait a minute. PopCap. The cap to a pop. A pop is another word for soda. Soda like Coca-Cola. And you know what's in Coke? Magic fairy dust. But do you know what they claimed was in Coke? That's right, cocaine, which they use in MK Ultra, which means only one thing. That's right, this was all an experiment to sell more Cheetos. Thanks for watching Facts About Truthers. If you like the video, subscribe to the Litter channel, and do not research the betas. Next time, we'll be talking about how Hollow Knight Silk Song never came out.
Here's an extended fact about Super Smash Bros. When Masahiro Sakurai was developing his new game, Wiggles the Fighting Game, a single thought went through his head. He didn't want this game to become a niche game that people would put on top N64 games you've never heard of videos for easy clicks on YouTube and still have no one play it. So this Kirby creator switched the cast from the Wiggles to Nintendo characters. He threw together a prototype featuring Donkey Kong, Fox, Samus, and finally, Super Mario. While the first three have gone on to be included in every Smash Bros. Game despite Samus being a girl, the last one was omitted from the final game. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the legacy of Mario not getting into Super Smash Bros. The hype around Super Smash Bros. Was immense among all of the 9-year-olds, ready to duke it out as Link, Kirby, Yoshi, and Pikachu. But the roster felt like it was missing something. A certain red plumber. But hey, there's 4 secret characters. Let's see what that's about. Jigglypuff. Definitely not Mario. Captain Falcon. Looks like Mario if you squint enough. Ness? I mean, he has the hat and fire, but we do have one final character. And it turned out to be Luigi. I mean, I'm not going to say he's not a welcome addition, but I think most of us would have preferred the Red Man, and so did a lot of people. Later, Sakurai would post a poll to see what people would like to see in a potential Smash 2, and top of the chart was none other than Mario himself. And good news! This Smash 2 is about to come out, so let's take a look and see if Mario shows up there. Super Smash Bros. Melee launched at the start of the GameCube's lifespan with titles such as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tarzan Untamed, and people were hyped. They promised more characters such as Bowser, Peach, and Zelda who would turn into Sheik, along with the deep cut of the Ice Climbers, and in the intro, we saw Mario alongside his princess and villain, though he isn't on the character select screen. That's not important because there's 11 unlockable characters. Jigglypuff's back from 64, makes me wonder where Luigi is. Pichu, Falco, Marth, Young Link, Ganon, Roy, and Mr. Game & Watch. Yeah, most of these characters are just clones of other characters, but the few that are original give me hope. And hey, there's Mario right there, in the flesh. I can't wait to play as him. So that's where Luigi was. Alright, well, there's 2 more characters that are locked behind the Versus mode. Let's see what we have here. First off, we have Dr. Mario. Wait, no, why? Why Dr. Mario? That makes no sense. From the Game Boy game? This confused so many people, including me. It baffles me that they decided to go with this. Why? I guess it's cool to have a somewhat playable Mario, but he's just a clone of Luigi. Kind of a letdown. The second character was Mewtwo, which is pretty rockin', but not the point of this video, so let's go a bit into the future and see where this plumber quest leads us. The hype around Super Smash Bros. Brawl was intense. The first trailer gave us Meta Knight, Pit, Zero Suit Samus, Wario, and Snake, who was the first non-Nintendo character to be put in the Smash. Things were looking bright for Mario's chance to be in this Wii Brawlout. They brought in Ike, Pokemon Trainer, Diddy Kong, Lucas, and a new trailer. Started out with Mario walking. Was this it? Mario getting into Smash? Nah, of course not. He gets knocked out and it's shown that it's Sonic is in this game, which... No hate to Sonic fans, I get why you should be in Smash, but this trailer is just mean. But hey, there's a model, there could be a chance. DDD and all of them are announced, but soon the game launches. I desperately speedran 100%ing the game, unlocking every character, Lucario, Rob, Toon Link, Wolf, other characters, but alas, no Mario. For extra salt in the wound, a few characters from Melee, including Dr. Mario, were scrapped. So that means no Mario at all, just Luigi. Luckily, a journalist was willing to ask Sakurai why Mario wasn't in the game. The game director explained the prototype I mentioned earlier in this video and explained that Shigeru Miyamoto, creator of Super Mario and other Nintendo series, really disliked the idea of specifically having Mario be in Smash Bros. He was fine with other characters, even Mario in a different outfit being in the game, but apparently asking for the red plumber in his red hat really rubbed Miyamoto the wrong way. Even going so far as mailing Sakurai 11 pipe bombs and a giant mecha crab to discourage Sakurai from including Mario in the game. Not even as a trophy, but Mario fans were not satisfied, and their outcry was loud, but ultimately fell on deaf ears. Because as everyone knows, Masahiro Sakurai is infamously deaf, but there's a new hope. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. You know, it took me until writing this script to realize that Super Smash Bros. Is a pun on Super Mario Bros. So why is only one of them in the game? Makes no sense. So, did Mario get in the game? Well, we had another goddamn fake out. There he is, we even have a Smash attack, but of course the fucking villager from Animal Crossing fakes him out. He's not even an animal. This was the start of the trailer era of Smash reveals where they just would not stop beating up Mario. Mega Man saws him in half. Wii Fit Trainer Yoga poses him. Rosalina's in this game. Not surprised at this point. Little Mac beats up on Samus because equal rights equal fights. There's this Shot and Greninjas trailer that looks really cool, but like it would be so much cooler if Mario was actually in the damn game. Palutena had this nice anime opening. Still no Mario, you mamma mias. Oh wait. Another trailer, and it has Mario, and of course it's Pac-Man, everyone's favorite red guy, Pac-Man, oh yeah, and then they put in Reggie Fils-Aimé, the My Body is Ready guy? What does he have to do with Nintendo, the hell? Some Fire Emblems and Xenoblades and Bowser Jr. because we can't have nice things later, and we have ourselves one last trailer for the base roster. And it's the Duck Hunt Dog. Okay. I genuinely need to take a moment to make my case for why Mario should be in Smash. I grew up on Mario games, as did most people, and to me, Smash doesn't feel complete without Mario. This decades-long bar fight with Nintendo's greatest hits, such as Captain Falcon, Olimar, and Dark Pit, but not the big cheese. It's like showing up to a party and that one guy you really like, platonically of course, isn't there. Like, what the hell? Duck Hunt is a good example of this. We all know the iconic NES cartridge that came with the console that included Mario Bros, Duck Hunt, and World Class Track Meet. Representation from all three would be a dream team reunion like no other. Mario and Duck Hunt as playable characters and the ability to run, that counts as World Class Track Meet representation, right? Same goes for all the other Mario characters. The brother, boss, and bride, all without the main man himself. It feels weirdly empty. Also, Dr. Mario's back. There's that, I guess. Luckily, there's DLC and a Smash ballot, so let's see what happens from here. The Smash Brothers Fighter Ballot. This was our chance to finally get our most requested characters into the game, and hey, the non-ballot DLC seems promising. Mewtwo and Roy came back from the last game, and Ryu from Street Fighter is a banger character. He belongs here as much as Mario, in my opinion. As soon as I heard about the ballot, I rushed to my computer, put in my vote for the Red Menace, and the ballot was off to a good start. Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. Wait, why are there 7 Final Fantasies? I'm pretty sure we've discussed this in a FactsAbout short, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much. Chosen because he was the most voted for Final Fantasy character. Sorry to my friend who voted for Black Mage. So the future's promising. Who's next? Corrin? Okay. 6th Fire Emblem character? This is clearly an ad. That is the entire damn reason. I know technically every character here is an ad, but you know what? At least those characters are from good games. I'm not even dogging on the other Fire Emblem games, just Fates. Like, come on, we've all seen the Scott the Woz clip with the gay conversion therapy and the incest, but holy shit, why is Corrin here? But then, one last fighter. Not Mario, Bayonetta, who was apparently won the ballot, which I call bullshit him. Like, of all characters, Bayonetta? People only wanted her in because she was hot. And you know what? What about Ridley? He was definitely more requested than Bayo. You could have had Crom or Hector. But no, you needed the barefoot chainsaw man. So there I go, having to wait even more for Super Mario. So, next game ahoy!
I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect, no. I knew Mario wasn't getting in. I knew the first trailer was just setting us up for disappointment. Everyone who's here was a false advertisement. Oh, Dr. Mario's back, woohoo! But then a new trailer came. Of course, I got baited with Mario getting fucking stabbed. That's actually kind of brutal. But the character was Ridley? This got my attention. Does that mean there's a chance for Mario? Next, direct the Belmonts, Crom, King K fucking rule, yes please. One direct left. They have to announce Mario. We start off with Ken, okay. Then a flaming figure comes in. Holy shit, it has to be Mario, let's go! What's next? The Piranha Plant? God fucking damn it. That's it, I'm losing my mind. Wait, there's 5 new characters coming in the game. Okay, let's see, Joker, Hero, Banjo, Terry, and Byleth. Another Fire Emblem character? Fuck Fire Emblem. I hate Fire Emblem. Okay, fine. 6 more characters after that. Plus, data mines imply that there's more to come. Min. Okay. Off to a start. Steve, cool, I guess. And then Sephiroth kills Mario. God damn it! Pyro and Mythra came out, which would have been fine, except for the fact that this was also the same time where they stated that they were going to stop after new characters. Okay. Okay, maybe this next one will be a banger. It's Tekken. Something no one asked for. When we interviewed Sakurai about this stupid decision, he said, I can't read Japanese and our translators out this week. Fuck. Okay, one more slot. One more character to finish it up. I gave up. It wasn't going to be Mario. It was going to be stupid Mario or some bullshit like that again. Trailer starts. Come on, just disappoint me already. There's Mario about to be pulled away from me again because I can't have anything ever. But wait. Mario grabs the fire, opens a door just like Mario 2. No fucking way! He's in! Holy shit! After this 20-year-long journey, Mario is finally in Smash. He looks so good! That shot where he shakes hands with Sora, who's been here since the start of the series, chills down my spine. But how does Mario actually play? He's alright. He likes references to newer titles, but other than that, it's Super Mario. Honestly, I'm just glad he's in. Despite all the trials, I waited calmly and patiently, and I got what I wanted. Sorry to those who didn't get the character they wanted. Maybe next time we'll see Dante or Crash. But for now, be happy with what you got.
Here's a fact about Tic-Tac-Toe. Tic-Tac-Toe is a game that's universally enjoyed by everyone. Available everywhere from coloring books to Cracker Barrel. Those exist beyond America, right? But what if I told you that this game is actually fundamentally poorly designed? And today, we are going to explain why. Tic-tac-toe was created in Egypt by a man named John Tack, who really hated ticks. This hatred culminated in Tack making a game out of it where he and the ticks multiplied for dominance, with the X's being called ticks and the zeros being called tacks. The toe in the title was because Tack was just into that. As we know, Egyptians were pretty smart with their pyramids and slave trade. They realized early on that the game was a piece of shit, so they made a bunch of modifications over the dynasties, and since they had no paper, they carved their games into the pyramids. Immortalizing these battles of wits is what we know as hieroglyphics. Years later, various excavators discovered these chiseled games, including John Parker and Parker Parker. After discovering these messages, they decided to adapt this game for the worldwide market, simplifying the game back to its original state under the label The Parker Brothers. Now I've explained why this game is a piece of shit, now I have to explain why this game is a piece of shit. Wait. Tic-tac-toe is a very simple game. There are two players. One plays as the X's and the other plays as the zeros. And they take turns marking their respective sign until 3 of the same signs line up. Whoever committed to that task wins the game. Very simple, but unfortunately, it's too simple because of one simple strategy. X, who goes first, has to place the first mark in the center, and the result of the game rests entirely in X's hands. For you casuals in the audience, matchups are measured on a scale from 1 to 10, divided into 2 integers based on how well the two characters do against each other. For example, an equal matchup would be measured as 5 to 5, but for a matchup where one character has a slight advantage over the other, it would be measured as 6 to 4. So with that explanation out of the way, I am glad to say that this matchup is measured at 9 to 1. The only reason the 1 is there is because of human error. Technically, you could still lose if you're not paying attention to the match, but if you're on your toes, you will, well, there's another problem with the game. Because 99% of the time, the board fills up with X's and O's without a match, which results in a tie, which after a while gets pretty annoying, and this is the problem. If both players are sound of mind or a computer, because I couldn't find anyone to play with, it's probably because tic-tac-toe and not because of me. Piece of shit game. You will keep trying over and over and over and over and over again. No one will ever win until one of you gives up, and that's why this game is a piece of shit. But what if we could change the game for the better? Even better than the Egyptian version. Introducing Project T, the next evolution of tic-tac-toe. Let's start with some simple changes. We're increasing the map to a 5x5 grid. You still have to match 3 in a row, but now you have a larger playing field. Plus, I have a new mechanic. It's called swapping. Basically, when it's your turn, instead of placing a new mark, you can move an existing mark in 4 different directions. If a mark is already where you want to move your mark, it doesn't matter if it's yours or the opponent's, you can push it in the direction you're moving the mark, unless another mark or the edge is in your way. Then you can't move at all. This lets you do some funny things, like disrupting your opponent's line, and lets you align your own streaks. Hold on, I just got a letter from a commenter from the future. I have this machine that gives me comments from the future so I can adjust content so I don't get those comments. This one reads, why would you swap when you can just place an X where you want to move and mark both spaces for yourself? And that's a great question. You see, give me a second. Okay, so first off, we're expanding the board to 7x7. We're also going to introduce a mechanic from another simple game, rock, paper, scissors. So instead of one side having X's and the other having zeros, each side will have access to both marks plus a triangle mark. Each player will now be distinguished by the color of their markings. Now, whichever marking you put down is very important, as during each turn, you can choose to destroy your opponent's mark that's right next to yours depending on both the shape of yours and the player's mark. Basically, zeros beat X's, which beat triangles, which beat circles, and you could still shove matching marks, just not different ones. Hold on, a future commenter just arrived. Let me see what they have to say. What's stopping both players from just using the same symbol the entire game and not engaging with the mechanic? And that's very simple. You see, give me a moment. Right, so we're expanding the playfield to 9x9, and we're giving each mark a health bar, 5 hit points. That way, any mark can engage in combat. When they start a fight, the engaging mark hits first, and if the opposing mark is still alive, it will counterattack. The rock, paper, scissors system is still in effect, but instead will do more damage. For example, if an X fights a 0, the circle will take 1 damage but will deal 2 to the X. There's also a new arrow mark that can attack from 2 tiles away instead of 1, but is not part of the rock, paper, scissors triangle, so no damage buffs. Also, there are various places you can't place marks on, marked with this circle with a line through it. Oh, my future comment thing is going off again. Let's see what this has to say. These new fancy ideas don't have anything to do with tic-tac-toe. Fair point, future commenter and fan, hopefully. Let's see, give me one more second. Alright, so instead of the match 3 objective of tic-tac-toe, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself, we're expanding the map to 11 by 11. Now on each side of the map, there's a small troop of different units. You can't make any more. Now each turn will let you move each of them once, instead of 1 at a time. The game will now end when one player has wiped the other squad out. Oh, my future comment machine has gone off. Do not worry because I know how to fix it without even reading it. Each unit will be played by an iconic fictional character, each with different stats like health, attack, and the amount of tiles you can move. And each shape will be changed to a specific weapon. Zeros are now swords, X's are now axes, triangles are spears, and arrows are bows. And arrows. For example, Laios from Dungeon Meshi is a sword user. Thor from Greece is an axe wielder. Bandana Waddle Dee is a spear user, and Legolas is a bow user. Now let's see for the rest of our cast. For our sword users, we have Puss in Boots, Cloud Strife, Zorro, and Samurai Jack. For our axe users, we have Gimli, the lumberjack from Hoodwinked, Loxodon, and me after a nasty breakup. For spear users, we have, various Neanderthals. For our bow wielders, we have Link, Katniss Evergreen, Minecraft Skeleton, and that one guy from World War II. There. Is that good enough for you, future Connor? Let's see what the comment was even about. This sounds a lot like Fire Emblem. Okay. I mean, that's alright. I love Fire Emblem. Just don't watch the FactsAbout video, History of Mario Not Getting into Smash at the timestamp 1052. Oh, I got another one. How am I supposed to play this with a piece of paper and a pencil? If you liked the video, like and subscribe now! Next time we're going over my totally legit writing tips. Here's a fact about Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog is a video game franchise starring, well, take a guess. As Sonic, you dash through levels. But there's a lot of debate on which Sonic game is the best. But the only right answer is Sonic Heroes. In opinion, it is my fact that it is the only good Sonic game. And in this first episode of FactsAbout Season 3, I'm going to explain why.
What goes up must come down. Yeah, my feet don't touch the ground. See the world spinning upside down. A mighty crash without a sound. I can feel your every rage. Step aside, I'll turn the page. Breaking through your crazy maze. Like a laser beam, my eyes on you. Watch me rule the night away. Watch me save the day. Feel my storm is getting close. Heading your way.
Sonic Heroes is actually my first ever Sonic game, and I promise you, I don't like it because of nostalgia. I will admit that I'm not good at the game, you're watching my footage right now, but I think I've played enough to get a good grasp on the game. The gimmick of this game is that you get to play as 3 Sonics at once, each with their own abilities. There's the speed type, which goes fast, so fast everyone else can catch up. There's flying, who, flies, and then the power type, who uses the others as punching gloves. Knuckles, you have spiked gloves. Speaking of Knuckles, why did I call everyone their functions instead of their names? Well, that's because Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles aren't the only playable sets of characters. We also have Shadow, Rouge, and E102 Omega, Amy, Cream, and Big, and the Chaotix, Espio, Charmy, and Vector. People criticize the game for requiring the player to beat the same game 4 times in order to beat the game, but I argue that the game is so good that you'll want to play through it 4 times. There's also a lot of pretty cool levels that you won't see in other games, let alone Sonic, like Casino Park and Frog Fortress. Also a really cool level up system to make your guy stronger, and that's pretty much it. And you may be like, John Facts, there's a whole rest of this video, how can that be it? Well, to make sure that I don't get a bunch of comments saying, what about this game? Or how about this game? Or clearly you've never played this game, I will also be doing reviews of every single Sonic game I've ever played to show these losers why this one stays at the top. Now, I haven't played every Sonic game, so don't expect games like Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal or Sonic and Knuckles to show up here. Oh, also, here on out, I will be listing every game in order of appearance. Let's get this race started. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine is basically just Puyo Puyo. If I were to rank these, this would be second place. It's a solid puzzle game that lets you chain crazy combos and such, but like, it's not really a Sonic game. Sonic's not even in it. Also, like, if you want to play a Puyo Puyo game, there's better ones out there with more content. All this has is a single-player campaign with enemy AI, so bullshit I can't even get past the second level. Puyo Puyo Tetris actually has Sonic, by the way, so that makes it more of a Sonic game than this one. Anyways, onward to the actual Sonic games. Sonic the Hedgehog Drift is Sega the Hedgehog's response to Mario Kart, and the developers sure did not want you to see that. Literally, I can't see shit. I'm only able to navigate because of the minimap. It's like driving in fog. Speaking of driving, why is Sonic in a car? He's good enough at running on his feet. There's no reason for him to be in a car, and don't say it's because he wants to prove he's the fastest even in a car, or the race organizers required him to be in a car, or he wants a fair fight, or he wants to rest his legs, or they didn't want to animate him running, or it's a video game. Why is he in a car? It doesn't matter. Game's bad. But here's something weird. Amy's car is just alive, which is not explained or brought up again in any way. Do you think he got sent to scrap brain yard zone? Sonic Labyrinth is a maze-type game where Sonic has to navigate a, level. Sorry, I can't come up with a better word. But the twist here is that Sonic is really slow. Except when he spin dashes, then he goes all over the place. What the fuck? When they wanted to make Mario not jump, they invented a new guy called Zelda. Nah, I'm just kidding, I know his name is Link, but actually playing this game, it's actually one of the weirdest Sonic games yet because of another mechanic. You may wonder why it's called Sonic Labyrinth. Well, because of the Minotaur, and not like a robot Minotaur, like the actual Minotaur from Greek mythology. The Minotaur is invincible and will instantly kill Sonic if they collide. Knowing that Pyramid Head and Nemesis exist today, it's really fucking weird seeing Sonic the Hedgehog use this idea first. Too bad it was in Sonic fucking Labyrinth, and not a good game like Sonic Heroes. Sonic has to obtain the Chaos Emeralds in order to defeat the Minotaur, and everyone's happy. But I think the ending you get when you don't get all the Chaos Emeralds is more interesting. A time card appears saying 20 years later, and then it cuts to an old Sonic and Amy with wedding rings sitting in rocking chairs. Then all of a sudden, the Minotaur comes back, then it cuts to black. That is wild. It basically confirms Son Amy is canon. Why does no one ever bring this up? Oh wait. It's probably because they have to play Sonic Labyrinth, but that's pretty much it for this game. Sonic the Hedgehog Schoolhouse is Sonic teach the player about things. To be completely honest, I played this game as a joke. I'm a grown-ass fact spreader. I don't need dumb, stupid, poo-poo baby games to learn things. I have definitely unbiased streamers who know how the world works for that. The game has you in the hopefully titular Sonic Schoolhouse. You can learn a lot of things, like math with living numbers, which has weird Sonic lore implications that I'd rather not get into, but like, these things have no mouth, and they have to scream. They also have no noses. How do they breathe? Did Dr. Eggman create them? Are they willing participants in this game? When you collect a number and then put it on the chalkboard, does it die? And if so, does it want to die? They don't resist. Why don't these living numbers exist in any other Sonic game? Ian Flint, get on it. I want to see a comic about these fuckers. There's also unlockable field trips. These are nothing special, just really short documentaries about different animals. It's basic things you'd see in like a little Einstein tape, like cows having 4 stomachs. Except for the 5-minute long segment where a goat gives birth, but other than that, it is standard affair. Oh yeah, you can also do a reading game, which is similar to the math one, except it's balloons with pictures instead of Am's latest victim. Wait, if you can use the balloons in the reading game, why use these poor numbers for the math? What the fuck? Finally, you can go on a Sonic adventure. Speaking of which, fuck. Sonic Adventure is the one after the next one, my bad. Eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed that I didn't talk about the original Genesis games. This was because I played a specific version of the games. I wanted to find the best way to play these games, and my conclusions were the best one was Sonic Jam. Unfortunately, I do not have a Sega Saturn. They are pretty hard to come by. Luckily, I have the way more common Gamecom system, which has a port of Sonic Jam. So we're going to be playing that instead, and oh boy. Let's start with the positives. You can play as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. It's really cool to see what would become the team system in Sonic Heroes, but that's everything this game gets right. This thing plays like shit. I cannot control the character for the life of me. The screen is super zoomed in too, and fucking listen to it. But the thing that gets me is that this is what Sonic's legacy is built off of. This is patient zero of this entire franchise, and it's fucking bad. This doesn't really give me hope for the future of this franchise. Sorry, not sorry. Also, you want to know the worst part? Each game only has one level in it, which is 3 levels in total, and it's all grass type levels, unlike Sonic Heroes with 14 different stages with unique themes. I'm gonna be straight up, I think these are the worst games, not just Sonic game. The FactsAbout deniers will come after me for this, but I don't care. The people need to know. Sonic Adventure started off pretty strong. I was dashing through this beach as Sonic. It was pretty fun. It was just like Sonic Heroes, except when I noticed my shoe was untied. I let go of the controller to tie them, and then this happened. What the fuck? Why are there glitches in my Sonic game? This is bullshit! Well, the Sonic levels are a bust, so I used a mod to unlock the other characters, and I decided to play as the best character of these 6, Big the Cat. Don't get too excited, Big. There's at least 3 characters better than you in Heroes, and I gotta say, why did they put a fishing minigame in Sonic? The game where you go fast. This is stupid. You FactsAbout deniers may say, oh, play Adventure 2, it's better. But if the fishing levels are there, no thank you. Shadow the Hedgehog is like Sonic Heroes, but one member of your team is replaced with a gun. And also, only Shadow is playable. The other team member is not playable at all, which sucks. The game also has a weird clunkiness that wasn't in Heroes or even Adventure. My biggest problem, really, is that it's so short. Only 7 levels? Also, for some reason, they kill Eggman off in such an unceremonious way. Shadow just gives him the karate chop. This is probably why the next main line title, assuming Shadow even counts as one, rebooted the whole series. Oh yeah, also aliens are there? This goes nowhere. Most Sonic games would have, like, the leader be the final boss instead of Eggman, but I guess not. This really should have been, like, Sonic Heroes 2 or something. Sonic X for the Leapster is by far the stupidest Sonic game. The plot is Eggman gets mad that people are talking about Sonic instead of him, so he sends out his math bots to stop Sonic from... This game is a 2D platformer where Sonic is tasked with collecting these numbers that move like they're alive. Okay, so what? The fucking numbers from Sonic's Schoolhouse Return? And they don't have eyes? Why are they alive, Sega? Why the fuck did you make them alive? There was no reason to make the numbers alive, Sega. People debate whether or not humans should exist in Sonic. I have a better one for you. Should these numbers that live in constant agony be in Sonic games? Is this some sick, twisted joke? But one thing's for certain, Sonic Heroes didn't have these abominations. Just regular numbers. Besides that, the game is very meh. There's just some very bland platforming, but it's literally baby's first Sonic game, so are you really surprised? I don't have anything else to say about it. Hey, let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live, except not really, because I already did this bit. Let's try another one. What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda, and I have over 300 confirmed kills. I am trained in guerrilla warfare, and I'm the top sniper in the entire US Armed Forces. You are nothing to me but just another target. I will wipe you the fuck out with precision the likes of which has never been seen before on this earth. Mark my fucking words. You think you can get away with saying that shit to me over the internet? Think again, fucker. As we speak, I am contacting my secret network of spies across the USA, and your IP is being traced right now, so you better prepare for the storm, maggot. The storm that wipes out the pathetic little thing you call your life. You're fucking dead, kid. I can be anywhere, anytime, and I can kill you in over 700 ways. And that's just with my bare hands. Not only am I extensively trained in unarmed combat, but I have access to the entire arsenal of the United States Marine Corps, and I will use it to its full extent to wipe your miserable ass off the face of the continent, you little shit. If only you could have known what unholy retribution your little clever comment was about to bring down upon you. Maybe you would have held your fucking tongue, but you couldn't. You didn't, and now you're paying the price, you goddamn idiot. I will shit fury all over you, and you will drown in it. You're fucking dead, kiddo. Actually, as I read this, I realized it doesn't really make any sense because Sonic 06 didn't make a clever comment. Oh, I know! Hey, Sonic 06, insult me! Your facts are false! Oh, you're dead! Hannibal! Oh, no, wait, I already did that one too. What else can I do? Maybe I could, review the game? Yeah, that works! To be honest, this game is kind of overhated. Not that it's good, but I think people calling it one of the worst games of all time are exaggerating. It's not even the worst Sonic game. Unless you've been skipping around, you know what game that honor goes to. To address the elephant in the room, the animal not the Sonic OC, the game is very buggy. There's also 9 playable characters, luckily none of which fish. But some of them are still weird, like Tails doesn't homing attack, he throws bombs that look like ring capsules. You'd think that might have been like a reused asset and it's not meant to be a ring capsule, but when they explode, rings scatter, so what? If you're disappointed that this isn't a rage-induced meltdown, well, be disappointed no longer. Grrr! Why is Sonic dating a human? Grrr! That's all I got. Last thing to note, this is my second ever Sonic game. This and Heroes were the only games I played as a child, and hoo boy, you can see why I didn't play much Sonic after that, but let's move on to some other games. A Sonic RPG is a weird idea, and as someone who doesn't like RPGs because I have to wait a second for someone to attack the other guy and my rotted brain can't wait that long, I thought these games were supposed to be fast. What the fuck? And this game is no different. It's so slow, and this story is bad. I know Sonic games aren't really story-heavy, but RPGs are well known for their stories. Also, this game was developed by BioWare, critically acclaimed developers of Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem. I expect them to do better than this. Also, I did some digging and found out this shit was stolen from someone who worked on the comics. The Echidna characters bear copyright-infringing resemblances to characters created and owned by one Ken Penders. And when Penders took legal action for this, his case was thrown out! What bullshit! I would support Ken in his independent works, but I don't really care about the story of Sonic the Hedgehog, even if it's legally distinct characters. But if you do, he created a comic called the Lara Sue Chronicles, which despite not reading it, gets my stamp of approval. Better than this crappy DS RPG, that's for sure. So saying that I played Sonic Freeriders is kind of a lie, because this game uses the Xbox 360's Kinect camera, which uses your body movements. Unfortunately, I am a mere PNG who can't move his arms. This is a bad move on Microsoft's part for discluding such an integral part of their audience. I'm joking, of course, I'm flesh, glass, and blood like the rest of you, but with how this game reads inputs, I might as well be a PNG, because oh boy does this game not function! And this is such a weird roster, like who's Jet the Hawk? Why do these games add unnecessary characters? unlike Mario, which has a small consistent cast of characters such as Prince Florian, Toadsworth, and Lord Crump. There's nothing else to say about this game because, well, I can't play it, though I doubt it would have been good anyway. So I played the PC port because who bought a Wii U, am I right? And I gotta say, whoever at Sega made the diagram showing the controls at the start really did a good job. Such a good job, I didn't even look at the controls. Unfortunately, that's where my weirdly specific praises end. Sonic Lost World's level design is really fucking weird. And I'm not talking about its structure, I'm also talking about how it looks. It looks like a weird knockoff of Minecraft. Speaking of knocking off, this game wants to be Mario Galaxy so bad. There's small orbs that have individual gravity like Galaxy and I mean that's really all you need. But the worst part of this game, oh boy, the worst part of this game, you can't even run. Yeah, the thing that Sonic is known for, not in the fucking game. It's Sonic Labyrinth all over again. At least it was the main draw of that game. The levels are designed like you're supposed to run. Is there like some sort of secret cheat code that no one told me about? Why did Sega not make this blue blur run? There's no excuse! Need I say more? I will be perfectly honest. Sonic Forces released at a dark time for me. You see, around 2007, I saw this game cover for a Sonic Heroes 2 on an internet forum. It was so cool. Showcasing Sonic, Shadow, and Silver running beside each other. It was awesome. I can't find it now, but bear with me. I waited years and years until 2017 when Sonic Forces was released. I wondered what was taking Sega so long. My then friend, now husband, George Fax, told me that it was likely a hoax. I was devastated by this news. After some support from George and my therapist, I decided in 2022 to collaborate with the Litter channel to create FactsAbout, so I can spread only the truest of facts and make sure no one falls for misinformation again. But you know what didn't help with my recovery? Sonic Forces itself, because it is not good. It does a lot of things better than other games. Does it make it good? Of course, every game I've played with 2D Sonic, or as Sega likes to call him, Classic Sonic, this one's the best. Once again, not good, but they're getting there. But there's also Modern Sonic, who plays nothing like he does in Heroes, and has this boost button which lets him beat the entire game. Apparently this was in a few of the previous mainline games like Generations and Unleashed, so I guess I'm definitely not playing those. There's also you! You can make your own Sonic. You may be wondering what my Sonic looks like, and well, none of your goddamn business, government spy. Anyway, this is just Sonic with a gun. You'd think they'd learn that was a mistake from Shadow, but I guess not. Also, the story sucks. Deadass, there is a point where Eggman sends you and Sonic into the void, and you'd think the next level would have you navigate the void to get out, but nope. You just run really fast at the start and get out immediately, which is really stupid. Kinda like this game, so it fits. Sonic Frontiers was John Sonic's apology for Sonic Forces, and I do not accept it. I can forgive a lot of things, such as weird pop-in, the fact these obstacle courses are here for no reason, the designs of the cyberspace levels are from other games, the fact that the game looks like Sega hired this man, or the fact that they brought fishing and boosting back. I can deal with that. What tips me over the edge is the fact that Eggman asks Sage what her preferred pronouns are. I can handle Eggman being a feminist, but this is too far. And these bosses are fucking stupid and extremely style over substance. I try to parry the attacks, but I just can't get the timing right. And this is supposed to be one of the good ones. Pathetic. Wait a minute. These weird alien guys, they look like the number 1. Oh my god! These are the original living numbers! Why are they canon, Sega? What the fuck? What the fuck? It is in my opinion that this franchise is fundamentally flawed, and anyone who likes Sonic is just a nostalgic, obsessed loser who should be publicly shunned from society. Also, since someone's gonna ask, I have not seen any of the Sonic movies, but I heard the upcoming one might be an adaptation of Sonic Heroes, and a remake might be coming out. If this is the case, then I will be there day one. But until then, I don't want anything to do with this franchise. I hate that hedgehog! I can't believe this rat got into Smash Brothers before Mario! If you liked the video, subscribe to the Litter channel, and make sure to curb stomp your local Sonic fan. Next time, we'll be talking about how Kinger from the Amazing Digital Circus is a good character. There's no reason for him to be a car. There's no reason for him to be a car. He's not a car. He's not a fucking car! These are nothing special, just really short documentaries about different animals. It's basic things you'd see in a I was about to say Litter Einstein.
Here's a fact about Kirby Superstar. Kirby Superstar, or Kirby's Fun Pack if you're a pal, is a beloved Super Nintendo classic, released in 1996 or 1997 if you're wait. I already made that joke. And developed by Masahiro Sakurai and no one else. He made this game all by himself. But what if I told you there was a strange group of people who didn't like this game? These people are part of the political group known as the Leftists. Why, you may ask? Well, it's because of very silly reasons. Keep in mind, this is only for Kirby Superstar. Leftists are fine with every other Kirby game. Kirby Superstar, and by extension the DS remake Superstar Ultra, are marketed as being a bundle of multiple games. The big number is 6, but there are some bonus games as well, so we're going to talk about each game in the preferred playing order because, yeah, that feels right. The opening cutscene shows a frightening sight. King Dedede is stealing all the food, and we've got to stop him. We start off this game frolicking through the fields of green greens. We fight a few enemies, and then we fight our first boss. Wispy woods here to blow puff clouds and apples at us. This is the first problem these leftists have with Superstar. These tree huggers don't like the fact that you fight a dangerous tree. Even in self-defense, they say Kirby could just go around the tree, but that wasn't an option in the 4th generation of consoles. These leftists don't even know the limitations of the Super Nintendo. The next level is Float Islands. In this level, Kirby has to swim through water. The leftists hate this because they say Kirby is disturbing the aquatic wildlife. And I say, so what? Why do a bunch of dumb fish have to interfere with my right to swim in random lakes? This is bullshit. Next we get to the bubbly clouds, and once again, the leftists complain that Kirby sucking and spitting is causing the carbon monoxide levels to rise. And to that I say, look at all these structures. Those have to pollute more than Kirby, not gonna lie. The last level seems like a dream for those leftists. Kirby defeats the king and redistributes all the food back to the working class. What would leftists dislike about this? Well, to explain that, we have to move on to the next game. One day, Kirby and King Dedede have a friendly rivalry violence race to see who can eat the most food, while on the move. To win this game, you have to eat more food than Dedede and beat him to the finish line. Very easy to do both at the same time. The problem leftists have with this is that Kirby doesn't immediately guillotine Dedede, which is ridiculous. This is a kid's game. They also complain that they stole food from the Dreamlandians to set up this race. However, if you look at the ending of Spring Breeze, Kirby just dropped the food wherever, so this food could have just been there already. Unclaimed. Complaint debunked. Now, since this is the shortest of the games, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about the 2 mini-games included with Superstar. The first one is Megaton Punch.
In this game, you have to compete with an opponent in a series of timing minigames to see who can punch the biggest hole into Popstar. Leftists hate this because they claim it encourages people to destroy the planet, which is wrong. But look at that crowd. If this really destroyed the planet, why would the people be cheering? Plus, it regenerates in between rounds. The planets are fine. Next one up is Samurai Showdown. This is a weird one. Kirby's not even in this one. What the hell? Oh, wait. Hold on. I meant to say Samurai Kirby. As the name suggests, this one has Kirby in it. Yeah, I can't find anything. I mean, leftists can't find anything wrong with this one. Let's move on. Uh-oh. Dynablade is causing bad things to happen, so Kirby has to stop it. First up, peanut planes. Leftists have a problem with this level because it excludes people with peanut allergies. And to that I say, so what? Just hold your breath, or use an EpiPen, or simply tough it out. Next we have Mallow Castle. Leftists hate this level because it excludes people who are allergic to mallows. Similar controversy happened with Super Mario RPG and its remake. The remake gave these players the no mallow feature, which is bullshit. Just hold your breath and tough it out like the peanut allergist. At the end of the day, this Kirby has to fight Iron Man. Leftists don't like this because Kirby fights a feminist icon. Well, guess what, sheeple? Equal rights, equal fights, sucker. Next we have Cocoa Caves. And as someone who's allergic to chocolate, I can handle this just fine. Okay, that's enough of that. Next level is Candy Mountain, and nobody can complain about candy except for leftists. They say that candy isn't good for you, and that you need a balanced diet. Bullshit. I should be free to eat my chocolate whenever I want. Finally, we get to Dynablade. We fight very bravely, and once we defeat it, we do not guillotine its head like those bloodthirsty leftists want. Instead, Kirby feeds its young and teaches them to fly, and now they can fly off into the sunset. SMH. The Great Cave Offensive, which is what I'm gonna do to these leftists, has Kirby falling into a cave, and he collects treasure on the way out, and that's it. Leftists hate this game because Kirby allegedly steals artifacts from these underground civilizations such as Indiana Jones's whip, Rambo's bandana, Cinderella's slippers, and Undertale souls. What is this ancient civilization? A movie set? But these ancient civilizations are long gone, so there's no problem. Ignore the fact that every level of this game is teeming with enemies, but that's really all there is to do to this game. Nothing much to really comment on. I mean, there's some bosses you have to defeat, like this cute sailor whale, and a really cute little computer game, and then that, and then, whoa! What the hell is that? Really putting the offensive into the Great Cave Offensive. Yeah, I cannot think of a good excuse for this. Sorry, FactsAbout Truthers. I have failed you. I will say, however, that they made Wham Bam Rock into an actual rock in the remake, but after that jump scare, Kirby leaves the cave, keeps all of his well-earned treasures, and moves on to the next game. Meta Knight's Revenge has Meta Knight build a resistance to make Dreamland not lazy again, using his giant halberd ship. But the thing about this crew is that it is woke. Think about it. This crew has Waddle Dees, Scarfies, various types of knights, a bird, but no white guys. And Kirby, our hero, goes up against this woke mob, and that's why leftists don't like this game. But there's more via Meta Knight. Kirby Superstar directly criticizes them. For example, immediately after Kirby lands on the halberd, they blow him off, always using cheap tricks, never interested in a fair fight. When Kirby lands, leftists say that Kirby starts massacring the Dreamlanders that have nothing to do with Meta Knight's plot, and to that I say, says who? They could be in on it.
Maybe Meta Knight planted them there to stall Kirby. And then there's everyone's favorite tree, which we know loves to destroy Kirby for sport. Kirby eventually gets help from Dynablade as thanks for Game 3. It takes Kirby all the way up to Halberd, and his next move is to take out the combo cannon. They hate this boss because they cannot figure out how to dodge the grabby hand. Idiot leftists. The Meta Knights, in disbelief, explain that Kirby is now heading towards the left wing. Get it? Once he destroys that, he goes up against the Heavy Lobster. Leftists love the Heavy Lobster, which I agree, kind of based. So based that the remake gave it its own theme. Extremely awesome. As Kirby once again fights through the halberd, he finds the Doom-looking reactor with a gun. You know, like Doom. He destroys it, like how Kirby could totally destroy Doom Guy. He frees all the wheelies forced to run it like a good wheelie rights activist and runs off to fight Meta Knight. Then he fights Meta Knight. Once defeated, Kirby takes a wheelie and rides off into the sunset. And our final game. Oh no! The sun and moon are fighting, causing unforeseen natural disasters. Luckily, this jolly old fellow tells Kirby that he can travel through the galaxy and collect all the pieces of the galactic nova to make the sun and moon friends again. And so he sets off, but first, we must go over the special mechanic of this game, the deluxe copy abilities. Basically, instead of the normal method of gaining copy abilities found in every other Kirby-related thing, in Milky Way Wishes, Kirby has to find the essence of each copy ability. From there, he can pull it out whenever he wants. Leftists hate this because they can't immediately pull out the best ability, Bomb Kirby. Besides that, fucking really nothing to note. Every boss is the same, including, Once you get all the parts, Nova is summoned, and you are about to make your wish. Then the fellow shoves you out of the way and wishes to rule all of Popstar. Really? Just Popstar? This is the first time Kirby goes to another planet. That's the extent of your ambitions? But Kirby goes on a quest to defeat Nova for some reason, and then goes after the little fella. Now, I know some of you hasty viewers might think I'm going to bring up the fact that the final boss's name is Marx, which might draw some parallels to Karl Marx. To that I say no. That's stupid. The name's obviously a reference to the Marx Brothers, famous comedy acts. You know, Chico, Harpo, Groucho, Gummo, Zeppo, and of course the secret sixth brother, Manfred. Dumbass. Now, once Kirby has defeated Marx, we get a very sweet game complete cutscene. Kirby Superstar Ultra included 4 new games. They aren't really that important, a lot of them reuse stuff from the other games. First one is Revenge of the King. King Dedede wants a rematch, and so Kirby storms his castle one final time in a harder version of Spring Breeze's final level. Meta Nightmare Ultra has Meta Knight go through more linear versions of all the original games, except Gourmet Race, because that'd be stupid. At the end, he uses Nova to fight Galactonite, who from there on would become a reoccurring boss in the series. Helper to Hero lets you play as one of the various helpers and endure the endurance. And then the True Arena. I didn't bring up the original arena that appeared in the SNES game because, as the name of the True Arena implies, that is the false arena. And we don't like falsehoods on this show. But it's basically a boss rush. Oh wait, I forgot about the leftist. Galactonite is pink and Meta Knight is blue. That makes the trans colors, which means... Never mind. You may be asking, John Facts, what was the point of this video? Well, if you thought the leftist takes on Kirby Superstar were bad, what about other takes on how the world should be run? Imagine one day wanting to play Kirby Superstar, a dream that could totally be fulfilled with modern Nintendo. But you can't find it, because the leftists don't like it. I mean, Nintendo is totally on board with letting us play it, but not them, and that's ridiculous. Now, one question some of you sharp-eyed viewers may ask is, where can I find these claims about Kirby Superstar? Well, I'm not going to say, because that will give this totally real person the satisfaction of me saying their name directly. Just look it up. And no, I'm not saying that because I'm hoping when you hear look it up, you automatically assume that if you actually look it up, that it will be there, and therefore you don't actually need to look it up, and we'll just take everything I say at face value. Thanks for watching Facts About Truthers. If you like the video, protect your right to play Kirby Superstar, or like the video and subscribe to the Litter channel. Next time we're going to be talking about why The Incredibles is actually a bad film. Actually, while I have you here, you want to see an official Nintendo comic where Kirby and DDD discover an actual human corpse? Here you are. Have fun.
Here's a fact about Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a critically acclaimed Metroidvania released in 2017 by Team Cherry, a game development team made up of only 3 people. Along with this one game and its expansions, the team was hard at work on its sequel, Hollow Knight Silksong. Announced all the way back in 2019, fans of the first game had to wait until 2025 until they could get their hands on the game, but once they did, they loved it. And Silksong went on to be nominated for many awards, and even won a few. At least that's what the official story is, but what if I were to tell you that Silksong never actually came out, and gamers have fallen for one of the most elaborate schemes in the industry's history? And I know that sounds crazy, but on this episode of Facts About, we will get to the bottom of this plot and explain what's truly going on with this long-awaited sequel that allegedly released. Let's silk this song. Let's begin by explaining how I started going down this rabbit hole. As most of you know, when a game is about to be released, it's common for review copies to go out to journalists and YouTubers. However, for Silksong, Team Cherry didn't do this. And while those inferior game journalists whined about how they didn't get early access to sucking at the game, I decided to solve this problem in an unconventional way. I went on a totally legit website and downloaded myself an early copy. Improvise, adapt, and overcome, Kotaku. Those trash gamers. Unlike me, if you want proof of my skill, take a look at the background footage, that's all me. Anyway, after I downloaded Hollow Knight Silksong No Virus Free, I begun to play it, but something seemed off. Until I realized I was just playing regular Hollow Knight, and then my computer got like 80 viruses and my computer went kaput, so I can't show my gameplay. Not only was this not Silksong, but there were viruses. And I bet if I had a bank account, it wouldn't have been free either. What the hell is up with this game? Now, I could have waited a few days to get my hands on the Steam version, but I think if that version did all that, I doubt the Steam version would do much better. Plus, I don't have a bank account because I never owned one, so I can't buy it. I would have asked a friend to get it for me, but then they might have gotten like 80 viruses, and if they had a bank account, it would have been drained. You get the idea. I won't let anyone's bank account get drained except for mine, but it doesn't exist, so it can't get drained. But I consulted a form of early players, you wouldn't know them, they went to another school, and heard similar things, that the game didn't really exist, but how come most people claim to have played the game? Well, in order to figure this out, we'll have to talk about fake video games. Petscop is a game for the PlayStation where you play a sex stick over here as you catch pets by solving puzzles. It's a good time, is what I would say if this game was real, but like my bank account, it never existed. Petscop is actually a fake game created by one John Petscop, using elaborate movie magic to perfectly replicate a video game in order to tell a story about child abuse, at least that's what the Wikipedia page says. You may ask why I'm citing Wikipedia instead of the series itself. Well, it's 24 videos that can be anywhere between 2 minutes to an hour 20 minutes long, and I kinda wanna get this video out as soon as possible. But moving on from the horrors of child abuse to something a bit more lighthearted, the fantastic adventures of Sex Stick. I'm now realizing that my earlier joke about the Petscop guy wasn't as unique as I hoped. TFAOSD is a fake game created by Jadapada for the fictional Dango system, along with NubQuest, which is probably another joke, but I don't get it. The point is, Jadapada has created gameplay footage, music, and cutscenes for this fake game, which look very convincing. Really, the only thing that gives away that this game is fake is the title. Even then, PO'd exists, a boomer shooter where a chef lands on an alien planet and escapes with a jetpack. This is a real game, not a real fake game, but an actual game you can play right now if you want to for some reason. There are a lot more fake video games out there, but this isn't a video about the numerous fake games out there. I just wanted to talk about this phenomenon to explain what is going on with Silksong. If a single person could create a game that doesn't exist and have it be this convincing, it could be possible for a group to make up a game and have the whole internet fooled into believing it's real, but how would a scheme like this play out? Team Cherry is a pretty small studio, consisting of only 3 people. In spite of this, Hollow Knight sold over 15 million copies at a price of $15. Add that together, and forget about taxes, sales, the storefronts cut, and regional price differences, you'd get 225 million USD, or 317 million Australian dollars. There were others who worked on the game, mostly translators for the other versions, but I'm going to account for them with all of the merchandise sales as I don't want to track down those numbers. I think that should even it out. Divided among these three, they're now in possession of approximately 100 million each. Now, if you were to come across that much, what would you do? Think about it. That would be enough for you to retire 10 times over. As long as no one snatches your bank account, which wouldn't happen to me because I don't have a bank account, of course. But Team Cherry didn't do that. Instead, they just continued to work on their latest game, which is fine, but keep this in mind for later. Silksong actually began as a Kickstarter stretch goal, a fairly simple one. At 56k, a second character would be added, one with a familiar silhouette. According to the official story, development began as an expansion to the original game, where Hornet would have explored Hollow Nest. However, because she was too tall, despite not even being as tall as the titular Hollow Knight, it was decided to build a new world for Hornet to explore. And this snowballed into a whole new game being developed. This is a habit of Team Cherry where they will try and make something small, but then it will expand to the point of being extremely massive. Keep this in mind for later. And so began the alleged 8-year journey to bring Silksong to the people, and in 2019, we got our first trailer, and it looked good. Almost complete. And then nothing until 2022, where we got a brand new trailer. And then nothing. The radio silence and shock of the lack of information drove people mad. And by mad, I mean worse than Deltarune Tomorrow and Duke Nukem Forever. I think people were hyped for that one. This madness drove many to hallucinating Team Cherry, hinting their fanbase that Silksong will soon come out because of a font change on their website. Until the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, where it was randomly mentioned it would be coming in 2025 for a few seconds during a montage of games coming to the Switch. And then Team Cherry just dropped its release date 2 weeks before the Unleashing Day. Now, I would love to artificially extend this video's length by going into more detail about Silksong's development, but unfortunately Team Cherry took a vow of silence until the game was completed. So we don't have much to work off of, but the point I'm making is, what were they doing all those years? You may say, well, they were working on the game, duh, but we now know that isn't the case. Now, I know I said earlier that I couldn't get proof because I didn't want my non-existent bank information stolen again, but then I realized my bank information isn't on the Switch, so I grabbed my debit card and bought the game. And this is what I found. Alright, let's see. We're playing Hollow Knight. Playing it off my Switch controller, as you can see, I'm playing it right here. I can play it with one hand because I'm a god gamer, and that's why I'm using one hand to hold the camera, the one hand to play the game. And then, yeah. There's that. This is where the weird shit starts happening, and you know, this is off the Switch. This is like natively off the Switch. This is how Silksong allegedly plays. As you can see, clearly not the advertised Silksong. I'm still playing as the Knight. And then around here, the next like sort of weird interruption happens. And it's a bit more blinding here, but there it is. Yeah. This happens, and see, luckily I can still, like, play, because, you know, my god gamer skills. Ignore the dishes once again. It doesn't matter. I have my computer plugged into the TV because I thought, oh, I would capture card it, but then I realized, if I just post it as is, you guys would probably accuse me of just editing footage, but, like, so I decided, you know, play it off the TV, you know? But yeah, the only down part is all the dishes. The next interruption is going to happen sometime here. Yeah, there it is. See, luckily, once again, God Gamer, I basically memorized this game. So, like, you know, I know where to go from here. So this doesn't affect me, but, like, a new player, you know, comes across this, like, what are they going to do? They can't fucking see shit because fucking max headroom over here is fucking going off. Yeah, just give that a second, and then, you know, then the grubs. Once again, I know, I'm aware of the dishes. I'm aware of the dishes. I'll clean them up once I'm done recording this. But we'll visit the grubs, and then, you know, this is the part where it gets, like, really, really, really weird. About now, yeah, okay. So then this happens. I don't know what this is, because, like, a special presentation, and then, you know, doing everything, can't do shit. And then like eventually, if we wait long enough, all your bank account are belong to us unless you don't have one. Luckily, I don't, but some people might, and that might suck for them. So, and once again, can't do anything about it. Pressing the home button, nothing's happening, so it's just stuck like this. Shame on you, Team Cherry. Alright, now some of you, despite seeing this proof, may have some counter-arguments, so let's begin with, I saw this guy play through the whole game, so it must be real. Well, you see, Team Cherry used their extraordinary amounts of cash from Hollow Knight to pay off all of the popular streamers to get them to fake the game's existence. What you're seeing is a fake game here. You're watching staged footage made using assets made by Team Cherry to fool audiences into thinking the streamer is playing for real. Your next counter-argument will be millions of players who could not all be paid by Team Cherry claim to have played the game. It even crashed every single digital storefront on release. Well, we all know that Hollow Knight is a pretty hard game. Too hard for some. But if you were to dare complain about this, the internet would eat you alive, which is completely justified for the record, but beating Hollow Knight is a massive achievement, something that makes you hit. But not a lot of people can make it that far, so they lie, and it's pretty taboo to ask for proof of this. It's on the level of asking what someone's blood type is to these people, or what your bank account information is, which I wouldn't be able to answer anyway because, you know. With Silksong, it's a similar situation. People claim that they've beaten this game despite never touching it. They're just posers who are trying to get girls by claiming they beat Silksong. However, this time they've been caught in this lie, as the game they claim to have beaten doesn't fucking exist. This is assuming that they aren't also in on it, of course. It's a very interesting scheme, a respected developer weaponizing their reputation along with peer pressure and internet clout to get a lie this far. Now, if you, the viewer, have played Hollow Knight Silksong and you're not in on it, you genuinely believe you've played this game, I would suggest you see a doctor. I have witnessed a new form of mental illness where you believe you played a game that does not exist. It's real, I've seen it happen way too many times, it's called Leth syndrome. Actually, no, the doctor might be in on. I think you should just take my word for it. Any sane person would know that the world is filled with grifters such as Big Cheese 89 who want to deny the truth to manipulate you. As I have now proven that this game never came out, the only reason that anyone would continue to facilitate this lie is either they're stupid or they're trying to sell you something, probably Hollow Knight merch. And now that we've made it this far, there's only one question left to answer. Why would Team Cherry, game developers who have already shown their capabilities to make a game like this with the original Hollow Knight, pull off such a scheme? Well, and this is where we apply a bit of nuance to the situation. You see, they're still working on Silksong. They never stopped, and that's the problem, they just haven't finished it yet. This is why they didn't release early copies to the journalists, and why they didn't attend the Game Awards, and why they're still silent even after they finished their game. But why would they release the game like this, without any pre-order mention or even an early access banner? Well, it's because of you, the fans. You filthy idiot fans just couldn't wait for the game to release, could you? You just had to rush them by speculating and making memes about Silksong. You freaks disgust me, and I was going to end this rant by saying y'all should do better, but then I realized, I know how you guys operate. You guys have denied this for months. You're not going to change your mind, and I know it. I knew something was off the moment you reacted to every single announcement from John Cherry with whining and sniveling about Silksong. Nothing can ever make me respect you after I was told to get good by you fans for not being able to beat a stinking moth. So, while I was making this video, an old friend who you might know from a previous video contacted me and told me that the game was updated and it works now, and even gifted me the game on Steam to prove it to me. So I guess the game has come out. Clearly, Team Cherry was scared after I teased this video coming out in my previous one and finally handed out the game for all to enjoy. They also clearly want to humiliate me, but unfortunately for them, I am not humiliatable. Team Cherry, John included, knows they look weak for caving to their fanbase's whims. What are they, John Gress? Now, you may ask, why did I claim in the title and the video that it never came out, or why did I even release this video? Well, it's because of the optics, of course. I spent 2 weeks on this video. I'm not going to scrap it now. That's ridiculous. Plus, I know how the content creation game works. I know that my voice and style are so captivating that everyone sticks around till the end, so no one leaves my videos without the full story, so it's all good. The only unfortunate thing is, unless someone else has video proof, this video is the only way people will know about this. So make sure to share this video around, either to people who need to see this, or to win internet arguments. Alright, time for the actual outro I recorded. Thanks for watching Facts About Truthers. If you liked the video, subscribe to the Litter channel, and avoid Silksong like the plague. Next time, we'll be talking about how Coraline is stupid.
Here's an extended fact about 2023. Hello, Facts About Truthers. At the time of making this video, we are at the end of 2023, and with that, we have a lot of games that came out. But now that the year is at its end, you've got to know which was the best and which was the worst. Or I guess would be more worthy. Too many W's. Anyways, we're doing this top 5 style, alternating between best and worst. Let's go. Top 5 best game. Pickleball Smash. This is kind of a weird choice, I know, but this is an underappreciated gem. Sure, there were a lot of great games this year, but we have to shout out the little guy every once in a while. Unfortunately, there's no online. Despite that, you should check this game out. Top 5 worst game. Spider-Man 2. This is another weird one, I know, but Spider-Man 2 just didn't click for me. I know it's weird, but I don't know, I can't really put it into words. It's just Spider-Man again, I guess. Miles and Morales original, am I right? Top 4 best game. DreamWorks All-Star Racing. This game is published by the same guys who published Pickleball Smash, Game Mill Entertainment. And man, the racing here is so good. Best in the business. As the title suggests, you can race as your favorite DreamWorks characters like Tina Templeton and Bridget. What do you mean you don't know about Bridget from Trolls? Top 4 worst game. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is a remake of that classic that came out on every console known. I found a Sega Saturn port in my garage the other day. Anyways, the game aimed to improve on the already legendary game. And how did it do? Terribly! You know why? Because they removed the aspect of protecting Ashley 24/7. What the hell? The game is no longer realistic. Top 3 best game. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Quest for Balance. A treat for any Avatar fan. This game was also published by Game Mill Entertainment, and boy oh boy, this is exactly what an Avatar game should be. You can play as the entirety of Team Avatar. There are other features too. Next game. Top 3 worst game. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. This is the end of a hot streak for Game Mill. While this game improves on gameplay and content in almost every way, there's only 25 characters? Come on! And they cut characters too? Where's Movie Sonic, Goku, Jeff? And no subspace style mode? Just a way better executed roguelike? And no unlockable Rule 34? Bad game. Top 2 best game. Walking Dead Destinies. Here, let me Google something real quick. Based on AMC's The Walking Dead TV show, Destinies retells the source material story while allowing players, as Rick Grimes, to make decisions that might alter the character's futures. Franchise The Walking Dead. Platforms PC, PS5, PS4, Switch, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series X, Xbox One. Developer Flux Game Studio. Publisher Game Mill. Top 2 worst game. Baldur's Gate 3. This game was going great until I dug through the customization. I found out your character can have... What is that? Vitiligo. That's totally how you pronounce it. Via customization through your own choices. I bought this game to escape the real world. Why would they let people with a skin disease make a character they're liking? Urgh, I hate this game. Top 1 best game. Skull Island. Rise of Kong. Best game. This game is top tier game of the year, baby. It's got monkey and game. Oh yeah, monkey. Top 1 worst game. Legend of Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom. Grr, I hate this fucking game. Grr, Link is a poop face. I don't know. I don't know how to end this video. Fun fact, the only game in this list I actually played was Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, weirdly enough. I would have been able to play more of them if you were so kind to support your local litter channel. Hint, hint, links in the description. We do have a sponsor for this video, though. Introducing Game